Okay.
Sharing live stream.
Very cool.
All right, we are. Well, welcome, Thea. Thank you so much for being here, part of this live demonstration.
I'm excited. No,
Yeah,
thank you for offering to let me do this.
Oh yeah, well, this is amazing. I've never done anything like this before. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lisa Drennan, mindset business strategist. I am the author of Forgiving the Girl Inside, Finding Balance, Freedom, and Fun in Your Life. I'm also a certified aroma freedom cognitive behavior therapist. And a lot of you I should say practitioner, because therapist means completely something different. So rewind, I'm not a therapist, I'm a practitioner. Even though it's a therapeutic process, it is amazing because it uses Young Living essential oils to hit the olfactory system into our amygdala to help us get a different perspective about things that we can't change, circumstances that we can't go back and change, but we can definitely look for the good, look for what was done for us and not to us. I became certified practitioner back in August of 20 and have been using this technique every single day. Thea has graciously accepted my offer to come on and do a live demo. I've never done anything like this before, so yay for the first. Thea and I just met. We met through someone else. I'm looking for, we met through your friend, Retta, who I met through one of the groups that I'm in, because I'm looking for, in May, I'm doing a podcast blast every single day featuring a woman's story post-abortion or from miscarriage or a loss of a child. So if you're interested in being part of that, send me a direct message. So that's how I got connected with Thea, and it's amazing how God just works in mysterious ways and brings people into your life to just to be in community with during the journey. So Thea, have you ever had an aroma freedom cognitive behavior session before?
Nope, never. I just heard of it. This is the first time. So this is cool.
So this is the very first time. And again, we just met. I talked to her via Zoom through no, this is the first time on Zoom together. We met through direct message, had a conversation. I sent her the oils. In this session, we're going to be using a memory release blend of frankincense, stress away, and lavender. We're also going to be using Awaken, and we're going to be using Valor. Now, this is a non-traditional, I was trained under Dr. Benjamin Perkis, who's a clinical psychologist in Binghamton, New York. I've taken a combination of things that I've learned from him, and along the way through just different cognitive behavior therapy trainings that I've done to create this for my signature program, Divine Heart Alignment Academy, which is to help courageous women post-abortion trust their intuition again without external validation, using the power of therapeutic aroma freedom cognitive behavior. So what perfect time to do this, to show you all how it works. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So Thea, what I want you to do is just think of a situation, an overwhelming situation, something that might be keeping you up at night, that really bothers you. It could be anything related to your health, your wealth, your relationship.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now get all the thoughts that come along with that situation. All those negative thoughts that might be feeding into, I'm not good enough. This is crazy. That person, is driving me nuts. Whatever those thoughts are.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Got that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, what's the one word feeling that describes that situation?
Scared.
Okay. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most intense, what's that level of being scared?
Probably a 9.
A 9. Okay. And where in your body do you feel it?
Right here in my, like here in my chest. Right.
Chest. Okay.
Where
good.
my, what do you call this? Anyway, where your ribs connect here.
Mm-hmm. I want to say your sternum, but I'm not 100%
yes,
positive.
Sternum. Yeah. That's it.
It's one of those body parts in that area, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what I want you to do is take the memory release blend
Okay.
and go ahead and put a drop in the palm of your hand.
Okay.
And again, the memory release blend is frankincense, lavender, and stress away. It's a
Okay.
beautiful blend. Frankincense and lavender are the king and queen of oils, lots of healing properties.
Okay. All
and
right.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna rub your hands together.
Okay.
Kind of get those oils and the energy of your hands. There's lots of pores in our hands where it kind of goes through into our body. What I want you to do is sit back. I want you to, and if you are, put your feet flat on the ground. If you are barefoot, that's even better. And just kind of breathe in with your eyes closed. I want you to breathe in through your, if you're comfortable, you can make a sentence. And I want you to breathe in through your nose deeply. So close your eyes, breathing deeply in through your nose. And I want you to exhale through your mouth slowly. So repeat that breathing process throughout as I guide you. So breathing in through your nose, I want you to connect the oil with the sensation of being scared in your sternum with those thoughts, getting that image of those thoughts, that overwhelming situation that makes you feel scared. And as you're breathing in into that image, connecting the smell of the oil with the sensation in your body, with a feeling of being scared, I just want you to notice what happens. The image may get bigger. It may turn into a movie. It may fade in and out. The multiple images may give you a new insight about this feeling of being scared.
Yeah, it's, do you want feedback or?
Sure. Yeah, as soon as you have like a new resolution or a new feeling about it, you can go ahead and lower your hands and or if the picture completely disappears.
Yeah, I just, it felt like maybe it was, it was there, but it wasn't as strong. Like I wasn't as scared. I don't know.
Okay, good.
And I felt more in control.
Awesome. So thinking about that situation on a scale of 1 to 10, again, 10 being the most intense, what's the number now?
I would say it's like a 5.
Awesome. Do you, and thinking about the thoughts that you still have related to that original feeling, that original thought. So focusing on those negative thoughts, what's the one word feeling that describes it?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question? I was thinking.
No worries. So thinking about the original feeling that you had. So when we started off a few minutes ago, you had this thought process of being scared towards a situation. As you can see, I have no idea what the situation is. You don't have to reveal that part in order to get the healing. So thinking about that original situation, you went from a 9 to a 5, which is amazing for your first time. What are some of the negative thoughts that still are associated with some of the false beliefs or things that you're still believing that might not be true, that still keep you in that not full control?
Well, there's a lot of shame and feel worthless. I feel yeah, like I'm not good enough.
Okay. And if you could describe it in one word, what's the strongest feeling?
Oh, shame.
Okay. And where in your body do you feel it?
It's more down in my stomach, like in my abdomen, lower upper abdomen,
lower abs. Okay. All right.
and a little
So I
bit
want
in
you
my
to
chest.
a little bit in your chest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to grab the Valor.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to put the Valor on your throat and
Okay.
on the back of your neck.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll take my scarf off.
Your beautiful scarf. I like that. I love the colors.
Oh, yes. It was a gift from my mother-in-law. Gotta get a little, oh, there you go. It's kind of hard. So right here on my throat?
Yep, right here on your throat and then on the back of your neck.
Okay.
And I just want you to sit back, relax in your chair. And I want you just to put your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your nose. I want you to take a big deep breath in. Really feel that breath of life go through your body and hold your breath. And I want you to slowly let it out through your mouth. And I want you to repeat that. So big breath in, breathing in, hold your breath and slowly let it out through your mouth. And repeat that pattern as you're breathing in. I want you to focus on those negative thoughts, the thoughts of being worthless and shameful and not good enough. And I want you to connect with yourself, with your inner child, your inner self, your younger self, of when you felt this way. What was that moment that you felt this shame and this feeling of worthlessness? And as you're breathing in, continuously breathing in through your nose, holding your breath, slowly letting it out through your mouth, really focusing on that time in your life, your younger self that felt shame and worthless. And just noticing that feeling, connecting that smell of the oil with that shame, that feeling in your body, that sensation and those thoughts. And as you're connecting with your younger self, thinking about those circumstances that put you in this sense of shame, I just want you to really look at yourself and notice your posture, how you reacted, who was with you. And I want you as yourself today to look at yourself at that time in your life and look into your eyes and just say, I'm sorry. And as you continue to breathe and connect with your younger self,
Sorry.
let's tell yourself, please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Keeping locked in with your younger self, tell yourself, I love you.
I love you.
And as you think of those moments, let your younger self know. Thank her for protecting you. But to let her know that it's safe to move forward. Move into self-love. And as you breathe in, connecting to that event, notice her response. Ask her if she's ready to move forward and to forgive herself. And when you have the answer, you can lower your hands. do you feel about the situation now? Are you still feeling shameful? Or do you have a different feeling?
I'm feeling like just because somebody said that I did this wrong doesn't mean that it's true. So I feel released from that shame, and I feel more empowered. Like yeah, what I did, it might not have been like the wisest choice, but I was a little kid, so it doesn't it I mean, we're talking about the childhood memory. I was a little kid,
Right.
so
Yeah.
and I
Yeah. Here
was
you are years later, and this little something that happened when you were a child is still affecting you as an adult.
yeah.
So going back and releasing that shame and that guilt. Was your younger self ready to move forward and forgive herself?
Yeah, she stood up and she said like something like, "Hey, why are you angry with me?" And I didn't do anything wrong. It was sort of like, that was kind of her response in my
Yeah,
image. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being totally intense, thinking about that original thing that was bothering you, what's the number now?
You mean like the shame?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, I would say it's like one is not so intense, right? I would say it's like a 4 or a
4
3. Mhm.
or 3? Which one?
Okay, let's go for 3.
3. Awesome. Do you have any additional negative thoughts that go with it, or anything that's blocking you from being totally released from this incident?
I think it's more thoughts about the person who
Part of it.
was angry with me and belittling me and trying to hurt me, like some anger there.
Are you ready to stand up to this person?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So what I want you to do is take the Valor,
Okay.
and I want you to put it on your heart and your belly button.
Okay. All right. In just a minute, I've got to open it.
So
Okay.
Valor is an oil that we use. The Roman soldiers used it for bravery, confidence before they went into battle
All
back
right.
in the day. So it's something that they put on to give them the courage they needed. So Valor is very powerful in helping us just get that courage. And a lot of times when we have shame and guilt, it comes from an external validation from an outside source. And we lose our voice because we're afraid to tell the person how we truly feel. And a lot of times when our younger self doesn't have that voice, as an adult, we can give them through this process, we can have that voice. And we don't ever have to share that with them, but it's just something internally that we do to help us heal on our journey. And maybe you will have the courage to, if you see this person, if they're still around, you can actually have that voice and have that conversation, but that's completely up to you. So in this final round, what we're going to do is just give your inner child, your younger self, that peace, that voice. So go ahead and you're going to put your hands heart-centered over your chest and close your eyes. I want you to relax your shoulders and just take a big deep breath in through your nose. I want you to hold it and slowly let it out through your nose. We're going to do that 3 times. So go ahead and breathe in, deeply breathe in and hold it. And slowly let it out through your nose. And deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And slowly let it out through your mouth. Now I just want you to focus on that person Focus on that situation. As you're breathing in, I want you to breathe in through your nose, and you get to choose. You can breathe out through your mouth or through your nose, but just continue that breathing, just feeling that breath of life fill your lungs. Really thinking about feeling your heartbeat, focusing on that situation, on that person who lied to you, who made you believe that what you did was wrong when you were just a child. And I just want you to picture yourself in that situation. Picture the strength and the confidence and the courage you have. Your voice matters. You are strong. You are confident. You have the words. And as your younger self expresses her voice to this person, let her know you're standing nearby. You're there with her and that it's okay. She's completely safe. And that she has every right to share her voice and to share her feelings, that nothing can stand in her way, nothing can stop her. And encourage her to speak her voice. So whatever those words are to that person that she needs to say, let her say it. And as she shares those words, feel the release in her whole being. Feel the sensation lifted from her shoulders, and the freedom that comes from speaking her voice. The empowerment, the safety, the peace, the joy. And as she shares the words, she looks at you. Notice what her response is. Notice the strength that comes from within. Notice the one thing that you have experienced from this. Think of something that will help you remind you of this moment. Something that reminds you of strength, of confidence. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's something from nature. And as soon as you have that image in your mind, you can go ahead and open up your eyes. What was your image?
I mean, which part of my image? There was a lot of images, like the
last
image of,
part, the strength, image of strength.
it's just this man that I have a lot of respect for, who has encouraged me a lot in my life. Not my dad, but somebody else. And has made me feel that I have value. So when a lot of people didn't. So that was, yeah, that's the image that I got at the end when I was, doing that. That was really, like, I felt like I kind of, like, my little self kind of grew in size and strength and power. So, and I felt like, yeah, these people had other choices. They had other choices they could have made.
What
And
good did you see that came out of that circumstance? So you can't go back and change that circumstance, but now that you have a different perspective, what's the new perspective that you have?
I feel a little sad that these people who, could have been loving were not. And but I feel that it really wasn't because of me. It was them,
Yeah.
it was their inability, that they didn't really ever feel loved either, probably. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty willing to bet that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't change what they did or how they treated you, but we can definitely have a different perspective towards them and understand, okay, yeah, you were messed up, hurt people, hurt others, but now looking at them differently because you can get that new perspective. How did you grow from that? How did you change the way that you felt during that? So versus before and after the session.
I think I felt, I just felt empowered, really power within myself. As a little kid, you feel so weak and afraid, and I didn't feel afraid anymore. I just felt, more powerful and not ashamed because, yeah, because it wasn't, it was, yeah, I felt, as soon as I felt empowered and like I realized that things were backwards, that how I was being
Yeah.
treated was not right. I don't know. I just felt this release from that.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. For somebody who's never done this, you went through that process very quickly. So going from a 9 to a 3 in just the short sessions, that's amazing. That's beautiful. So you, some people, sometimes just your willingness to heal and go through the process without not even knowing what it was. You were so open to it. And I appreciate that. I thank you for that willingness just to go through it and to trust the process without even knowing like what's going to happen and not having any doubts. So that's beautiful. That's a beautiful modality, a beautiful thing to have to be on that healing journey. So,
Yeah. And the scents were, the scents were, I mean, I can see that these scents are connected to this feeling of power, or this feeling of feeling empowered, like this. When I say power, I don't mean like power, like to hurt people, but just feeling power, confidence in myself, so, and it was so nice to breathe in those scents. It kind of like helped me, see those images in a less emotionally charged way. I don't know how to explain that. It's kind of weird.
It's a beautiful experience. Yeah. And the power of smell. I mean, as animals, we're all like, our power of smell is so powerful. And when you use, like, I've used this practice without the oils, and the ladies that do it without the oils don't get the same. It takes them a lot longer to go through the process. With the oils, it happens so much quicker because it hits, like, if you walk into a room and you smell chocolate chip cookies, you immediately go back to when you were a kid and your mom was baking cookies for you. Or you walk, one of my favorite things is when I was little, we used to go to the Italian delis, and the smell of cheese, like that fresh cheese, it just brings back those memories of having that fresh, hot Italian bread. And I remember when my grandmother, we'd go visit my grandma, and she used to bake those Italian S cookies, and you'd walk into her kitchen and she'd have the plastic vinyl tablecloth, and she'd have a glass of fresh ginger ale on the table with S cookies for us kids when we came to visit her. So every time I see S cookies, I just, or if I drink ginger ale, I just immediately go back to my grandmother when I was 6, 7 years old, visiting her, and, everything was fresh and just made, because she used to make everything from scratch. So it was like really very impressionable. But that's, if you ever stop and think about what you're smelling and you're like, something triggers you.
Mhm.
And sometimes those memories are fantastic, but other times you're like, and you don't even realize that we ignore those triggers. And the next thing you know, our head is spinning and we're like angry or frustrated. And we're like, what just happened? And your family might be like, why are you so angry?
Yes.
And then if you stop and think about what we're thinking about, the power of our thoughts, everything that we receive, if we captivate those thoughts and think about them and realize the feeling and the sensation in our body, we can have a totally different response. I call it my head, heart, hand response, because what we receive in our head creates those feelings, that emotion in our heart. And then with our hands, we take action, we get the results that we want. And we can totally change our perspective on things, past circumstances in our subconscious. We hold so much from childhood, going all the way back to day one, that form and shape our worldviews and why we think about it. And we don't have, we're so conditioned to think of ourselves in this negative way, like, oh, I was, this victim mode. It's like, no, you don't have to be a victim. You could be victorious just by looking at that perspective and saying, this is the good that happened because of this situation. I can never go back and change that circumstance. I can't change what those people did or how they treated me, but I can certainly look at it from a new perspective, a different perspective, and say, okay, this is the good that happened for me. This is what I get to do now. And this is how I can grow and go and do what I'm meant to be, because each and every one of us is designed by God to do something great and beautiful. And I know you have a beautiful story and you're doing some wonderful things to help others in their own healing journey, which is just incredible. And to be able to step into that with no roadblocks, no sense of second guessing and saying, oh, I can't do that, I'm not good enough. So just really, taking that time to appreciate yourself and to know that you are forgiven and that you are healed and that you are on this daily healing journey. So thank you so much.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very powerful experience. I mean, that memory has always been very painful. So it's nice to feel a shift in it.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, it's amazing to feel more powerful as a child, because and then I guess, the really great thing is that because I was treated this way over many times, I feel compassion for people. Even difficult people who people think, they don't want to have anything to do with or whatever. I really understand how they could become the way they are.
Yeah. And one of the powerful things about healing from, past events and past things is that, when you forgive somebody, you don't have to let them back into your life, but to have that empathy, that humility towards them and understand, so you can move forward, but you can still keep those. I mean, you'll never forget, but you can have that different perspective and you can keep those healthy boundaries and say, okay, that was messed up, but it's not going to affect me. It's not going to determine who I am or what I'm going to do, because I know that I am designed by God for greatness and a purpose, and I'm going to do these things, and, not to let that control you to the point where you relive it, to the point where you are not moving forward. So right now I'm reading a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And so much of our pain is hidden in our body. And, if you have chronic pain and you're dealing with these things, this aroma therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, is so incredibly powerful in releasing some of that, because a lot of the pain that we have comes from these past hurts. And I was reading in the book today, I don't know if this is the book, I was reading today about how they're talking about the brain from the top to the bottom. And, the brain is to ensure our survival. even in the miserable condition, it generates internal signals. So our brain is constantly sending signals out, and our brain doesn't know, like it can't tell the difference if whether we're thinking something or if we're actually physically feeling it.
Right.
And it was talking about people who hold on to trauma, they relive that incident over and over again. And if they don't address it, they don't heal from it, it's like this constant replay that your body, you have to move forward, and burying it does not help. So a lot of us will bury feelings and not process them because we're afraid. But once you do it, it releases. It's like the cloud, it's like if you're in prison and you're wrapped in chains, or, if you picture your feet cemented and you can't move, right? There's so many different ways that you can depict it. That can be totally released with this method. And it's just so incredibly healing. So thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. And I think it's cool that you don't even have to tell the story.
Mhm.
Like, I don't have to tell the story to you. I don't have to sit here and tell you the details, which would take a lot of time and would be distracting to the actual process, I think. So I think
Mhm.
that's a really powerful thing too, as part of
Yeah.
this process. That you can have a relief from that traumatic event without reliving it. But
Mhm.
sometimes I think when you tell the story, it makes it brings up more of the unpleasant feeling, and that doesn't really make it better. So this process, and especially the smells are very cool, very nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. I appreciate your time and all of that. And for those of you watching, if this is something that you'd like to try, send me a direct message. We'll get connected. And I do have a program, a membership program, where we do this every single week. It's called Heart Alignment Membership. And each week we meet for a coaching session. There's daily mindset prompts that help us focus on having that new perspective so that we can grow and go and heal from anything that keeps us stuck. So it's all about trusting your intuition, because within ourselves, we have the answers. So we remove those blocks that keep us stuck so that we can move forward, and we can trust ourselves without that external validation. So if you're a courageous woman post-abortion who is looking to trust their intuition again without external validation, and you'd like to use the power of therapeutic aroma cognitive behavior, you got to try this. Thank you again, Thea, for being here.
Thank you. It was wonderful. Great experience.